Hey, what's going on, everybody? So I'm going to do a quick video here. Well, probably not so quick. I'm going to do a rundown here. I was reading one of the comments and somebody kind of touched on breaking some things down in layman's terms. The content in the videos that we produce kind of sucks a little bit for newbies to try and figure out how to understand. Um, so I want to try and actually help out with that a little bit and get people to better understand what things are. Let's see if we can get some good spot. Anyways, there's several different terminologies that people use, and it can be kind of confusing. Um, and so I'm going to try and go over a few of those here. Anyways, what everybody knows is a repeater. If you don't know what a repeater is, I'm about to go over that a little bit. Simplex. Let's see, simplex repeater. Let's see here. Simplex node. Repeater node. Some of the components of these things. So let's start off with a repeater. What a repeater is it's a receiver and a transmitter and a duplexer with a good antenna up high enough to give you some range. Most DMRS repeaters usually that I have come in contact with aren't that high. Some are pretty high, some aren't. But it's really meant for something that's supposed to be up at over 100 feet, to where you can get, 25 miles or a little bit more, possibly. If you're not sitting at 100 feet, it might be hard to get a little bit further than that. Anyways, there's the repeater. Like you say, it's made up of a receiver and a transmitter and a duplexer. What the duplexer does is it notches out the frequency of the transmit radio or the transmitter. So it notches it out to where the receiver no longer hears the transmitter. Because if the receive radio hears the transmitter, it's going to succumb the signal because it's right there, versus the radio that's 20 miles away. So without the duplexer, your transmit radio is going to be heard by your receiver, thus knocking out the signal that is weaker, you being 15 miles away. So that is a repeater. Now, repeater node is essentially the same thing, except it is connected to a Raspberry Pi, which I've shown in several videos, which is loaded with a repeater controller software and the linking software. Oh, and that's the other thing I forgot about repeaters too. Repeaters also have a controller that gives you hang time when you unkey. There's just a carrier or a beep, or some of them have fancy CW, some of them have fancy, oh yeah, some of them have just a regular old beep at the end. That's part of a repeater. I do jump around a lot, so sorry, I'm kind of winging things. But anyways, the repeater node could be, if you, even without linking, you can use the software we use as a repeater controller for a standalone repeater. But what the software on here allows is to be able to connect over the internet as well. So then you can actually be tied into our national coast-to-coast service. Let's see here, the simplex node, simplex repeater, also known as a parrot repeater. What that does is it literally just takes your transmission and it takes it in on most likely the same frequency that you're talking on, and then rebroadcasting it on the same frequency. So it takes your signal, records everything you say, and when you unkey, you hear yourself coming back. So hopefully the repeaters in the middle between you and the other person, they might not be able to hear you, but now they're hearing you through the parrot and back out. To me, that's stupid. That's annoying. I don't like hearing myself. I watch the videos over and over again. But anyways, and that's the other thing. Is it takes your audio and plays it back to you. So that is a simplex repeater. That is the more commonly known when they say simplex repeater, is it takes your audio and spits it back. Now, a simplex node is where it takes, and both simplex nodes and simplex repeaters have one. It has one transceiver. It receives and transmits. It doesn't do it simultaneously like a repeater will do, because it's got the receiver and a transmitter. But the simplex station, the simplex node, or what I'm calling the radio box SN for simplex node, is essentially it's one radio connected to a Pi that is essentially a repeater controller. So it controls this radio from the Pi, and it takes the audio from the radio and sends it over the internet, retransmitting it through the national network. So it's not being rebroadcasted locally. This is strictly simplex. Simplex is actual simplex, radio to radio, like the CB. If you have a CB, you use simplex. Don't even know it. Sorry, waited for her to leave the room so I could start again. So anyways, simplex is literally just radio to radio. It's not even going through a repeater, or through, it can, with our network, it can be simplex, because technically simplex is broadcasting on the same channel that it is hearing, and it doesn't repeat, thus the word repeater. So technically a simplex node is not a repeater, but in some eyes it is, because what does a repeater do? It takes your signal in on a receiver and spits it out on a transmitter. Where does it say the transmitter has to be at the same location as the receiver? Or even in the same state. But, yeah, I'm all over the place. Sorry about that. This may have confused you more than it did help. But there are